It's time for a Truthnado! Get ready, folks, because the Democratic National Convention is coming back to Chicago. That's my F1 Truthnado, because that's just a fact. Why should you get ready? Well, there's been a history of a little bit of trouble when the Democratic National Convention comes to Chicago. And I'm not talking about the release of the Macarena in 1996. No, I'm going back to 1968 when the DNC went to the International Amphitheater, which was a place, if you had never been there, a place you could urinate anywhere in the building. It was fascinating. And they nominated the lackluster Hubert Humphrey to run for the Dems. But that wasn't the headline. No. The headline, see, there was all kinds of protests during them. It was a time of unrest. There was lots of protests about the Vietnam War going around all over the city, mostly in Lincoln Park. But so we had 12,000 cops, and they called in 5,000 National Guard and another 6,500 just plain Army guys. And all these hippies were protesting, and for whatever reason, on the Thursday of that, the 28th, I believe, of April, all these cops and all these folks said, you know what? Fuck these hippies. We've had enough. And they just started swinging at anything that wasn't wearing a tie, basically. I've talked to people who were there. I've talked to cops who were there, so I've got some good stories on this. And basically, it was a free-for-all. Now, normally, if you want to break up a protest, you bring the cops or whatever, the hoses in from one side and displace people out. Just get them scattered away. No, not this one. This wasn't about that. This was about beating up hippies, and the cops just came for all over, and we're just swinging. Over 600 people arrested, lots of injuries, just a craziness in the streets of Chicago. So that's why it took a while for them to come back to Chicago. And hopefully this time it won't be nearly as violent. Hopefully it'll be violence-free. But we'll see. But here's my F5 Truthnado. I don't have numbers, and I'm not saying there are a lot, but statistically, some of those folks that were hippies back in the 60s, they got to be MAGA now. Some of them are MAGA. I don't know why. But they're probably not the hardcore hippies, probably the ones who just grew their hair long and went to protests to get laid.